Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. Here you will learn all things related to healing from divorce, mind, body, and spirit, so you can create a beautiful new life filled with happiness. I'm Rachel Ruby, author of Divorce to Bliss, divorce coach, speaker, and attorney, and I'm so glad you found me here. Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. I'm Rachel Ruby, and we have a treat today. We are going to be talking about dance and its role in healing. This is a podcast I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I just had to find the right person. I'm so excited to introduce Melody Afkami, who is the founder of melodydancefit. And she hosts a popular online Dance to Heal program that has cultivated a large following hooked on Melody's message of self-acceptance, embracing duality, and allowing dance to keep us focused on the present moment. I love that. With an emphasis on empowerment and mental health, Melody's life mission is to take the intimidation out of dance so people can access it as a transformative tool. Fantastic. And Melody has been featured on many major platforms like CBS News, the Huffington Post, and she's graced the stages of TEDx, South by Southwest, and others. She's also been hired by companies such as Lululemon, Facebook, Bumble, and Google. So this is truly an honor for me to have Melody here today to talk about one of my favorite healing modalities, which is dance. Welcome, Melody, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we start by you telling us a little bit about your program, Dance to Heal, and how you got started with that and how you started spreading that message and the connection between dance and mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started in the dance fitness world. After I quit my corporate job, I started teaching dance fitness and I fell in love with it immediately. It completely changed my life. I was in a place of burnout. I hated my job. And once I started teaching dance fitness, I found this just newfound joy. I was rediscovering the joy of being alive, and I fell in love with it, and I fell in love with teaching it. And I noticed as I was teaching dance fitness, my classes were growing, and I feel like it was because I had a lot to say in between the dancing. So as soon as people came into my class, I always told them the intention of what this class is, that this was a place for people to not be the best dancer, be the most fit person, but rather let go physically through the body, release and celebrate the good, the bad, the ugly, every part of you, everything that you're feeling, so that you can walk out of the room feeling mentally lighter. And so I had been growing my classes, growing my brand in Austin, Texas, and I felt this growth and expansion. And I felt like, oh, wow, this has been something that has always been healing for me. Dance has always been something that I did as a kid to heal myself. Like no matter what emotion would occur in me, I was dancing to get through it. Whether it was a good emotion or a bad emotion, I found myself turning to dance. But it wasn't until teaching that I really started to see that it had the same effect on other people who prior to my class weren't at all attracted to the idea of dance or dancing. So then over the pandemic, as I think we all had this moment of just what really matters to me, let me zoom in on what really matters more. And that's really when I identified, oh, I'm not even just in the realm of dance fitness. I don't want to be boxed into this dance class or a fitness class. I have gotten messages from hundreds of people saying that the verbiage that I share in class mixed with the dancing has helped them heal through cancer, through grief, through divorce, through all these things. And I wanted to really take my decade of experience and package it into a program that's digital that could be beneficial for people and really, really hone in on this idea that it's dance plus mental health. And dance is the modality, dance is the tool to transform your mental health, to face your emotions, to stop repressing, to feel safe in your body. So yeah, that's kind of how Dance to Heal came about.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I know all of those benefits because I danced for many years as a young child and teenager and even into college. And I too, whenever I feel stressed or feel, just off, I'll just turn on some music and start moving. And it is like this, just the floodgates open, and whether I cry or laugh, by the end, I'm just like sweaty and I'm feeling so much better. And so dance was a huge, huge tool that helped me get through my divorce and get through my healing. So, and like you, when I got through that journey myself, I kind of figured it out and did the same things, built up this business to share everything that I learned. And dance was definitely one of the tools that helped. And so I say this to a lot of people, they turn on some music and dance. And it's wonderful now that I can point them somewhere because a lot of people don't know where to start. So I'm going to point them to you. But let's focus specifically on a life-altering event like divorce. And how does dance help accomplish this? I mean, you can either talk about it like from a scientific perspective or just emotional, physical perspective. But what is it that dance gives us as a benefit when we're healing?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. So there's so much to unpack with this question. When we launched our Dance to Heal program, what we found is that we really wanted to serve those who are going through a life-altering change, a transition, whether it be divorce, whether it be that grief that I talked about, heartbreak, or just, completely wanting to change your life, wanting to quit your job. Sometimes when we are in those life-altering transitions, or we are on a journey of healing, we often get stuck in freeze mode, right? So we are stuck in a place where we can't stop the loop of overthinking. So we're really living our bodies from the neck up. And we tend to think that we can over intellectualize our feelings, and that if we think about our feelings enough and we talk about our feelings enough, that we will feel somehow through that we will feel better. But what Dance to Heal really provides is both, addressing your thoughts, addressing addressing kind of mindfulness, right? Addressing your brain and what happens, because that's part of it. But then really starting to live your life from the neck down, really starting to tap into your body so that you can kind of take a break from being up in your head the whole time. So when it comes to something like divorce, you are utilizing dance as this tool to imprint these new beginnings and break the spiraling and breaking those patterns of, whether it be, negative thought patterns, whether it be certain beliefs that were maybe cultivated through familial beliefs or society, really utilizing dance to break through these things. And that's what we have really seen. We have people dance 3 times a week, and we recommend that. And it's the same dance fitness session each week. So the idea is you do the dance, you're so focused on trying to learn it, and it's not complicated. It's dance fitness. So it should be, it's all for all levels. So you do it once, your first time, you're like, what's going on? Let me try to, but it's activating so much at the same time because you don't have really any time to think. So it really gets you to this present moment. And I think it's a twofold. It helps you get into your body, and then it helps you get very present in the moment, which in society today, that is extremely tough to do. And then you add a life-altering event, you add heartbreak to it, you add grief to it. And it's just, you get stuck in that freeze mode. So I would say it's the biggest tool that dance could be for people who are going through this phase or this transition is it allows them to tap into their body, which really reminds us of our primal essence. And I'm sure you're a dancer, you felt that. And I think what it can remind people is that you don't have to be coordinated. You don't have to be good at it.
Yeah.
But just jumping around or clapping or just getting present with the music, it just does something, and it reminds you of your power without any of the, not the kind of power that comes with your job status or your relationship status or your power.
Empowerment.
Yeah. Well, empowerment and that primal power.
Yeah, true.
That innate power.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really what it can do to kind of stop that overthinking, stop the freeze mode.
Yeah. You described all of that so well. And I think you mentioned something that I was going to ask you about. I have talked to some clients and I've mentioned, dancing as kind of a tool. And I think the pushback that I hear, I'm sure you kind of just mentioned it too, is I can't dance. I don't know how to move. I don't know. And I just tell people kind of like you said, just clap or whatever. It's not about what you look like. It's about the feeling. And if you can just stand there and close your eyes, right? And just let that music do whatever it does. If it makes you clap, if it makes you wiggle, if it makes you whatever, right? I mean, you don't have to know how to dance in order to dance to heal, right?
Absolutely. That is something I am so passionate about spreading. You do not have to consider yourself a dancer. In fact, you never have to be good at dance to utilize dance as a healing modality. Never have to get better at it, and that's not the goal. The goal is to release through your body. The goal is to tap into your body so that your intuition almost wakes up and activates. So, another thing about that is the more you dance and you get rid of the fear or the anxiety about like, what will I look like? Our Dance to Heal program is actually designed. I do in-person classes, but it's a digital program. So it is designed to kind of be more of a go within, do it in your own space, do it in your own privacy and get familiar with it. And if you look in the mirror or if you're in front of the mirror, don't judge yourself.
Right.
Think about the why. You're doing it for the why. And I always compare it to meditation. How many people are good at meditating right away? No, it's a ritual. People use it as a practice because they know the benefits. And my TEDx talk was a lot about this, reframe what we think about dance, right? We only think we should dance if we're really good at it or if we look cool. But what if we reframed it as this practice, this ritual to help us tap in? And I think that what it can give us is it gives us infinite benefits. For some people, it helps them break through the negative thought spirals. For other people, it gives them this clarity of, one particular client that we had that was going through a divorce. It gave her this clarity that is heavy. But it's this clarity that she realized, wow, I was in a verbally abusive marriage. She danced and realized this.
Wow.
So, I never
chills.
And I never want to be the person that's like, dance to heal and you're going to be happy. It's all about being happy because that's not true healing, right? True healing is actually facing your emotions and facing it with a sense of, I'm going to ride this wave. I'm not afraid of it. And it's not about being happy all the time. Sometimes the clarity that you gain from dancing, maybe it is a heavy truth, but there is a sense of relief in that, right? A sense of clarity that she gained from dancing, which is, I made the right decision and I'm really proud.
Yeah. And what I really like about it is kind of how you mentioned, I think with a lot of other modalities, people who are heavily into that victim mode, they have a really hard time climbing out of that well, so to speak. And dance is I think so easy when most people, when they hear music, when you turn on, you feel it in your body. You don't just hear it. And so it definitely allows you, like you said, to let go. And that enables people when they're going through divorce and they're trying to heal or they're trying to figure out how to heal. Because a lot of people come to me because they've tried and they don't know how to heal, right? And there's so many other modalities. But I think dance is something that you can just kind of do no matter who you are, like you said, you don't have to be a dancer. You don't have to have been trained. That will just allow you to immediately feel some kind of a difference, I think. I mean, I just, the other night I turned on some music and I was dancing. I used to do it every night. So now I do a little less frequently, but every time I do, I think, oh, I feel so good. I should do this every day again, you know? So what happens in healing is it allows people to go forward and to go forward, period. I mean, you can't go forward if you're stuck in the victim mode. And if you're thinking all these negative thoughts, you can't move. You're just kind of stuck. So it allows you to move forward and create that new life. Because I think the goal, at least in general, when you're coming out of divorce, the goal is to find some modicum of happiness at some point after you've done the healing, to create this new life for yourself that you choose to build, like whatever you want it to be, and realize that, you know, you're no longer this we, you're separate, and you can go on and you can build that. So I think dance is one of the most simple ways to just express yourself, feel better, get out, you know, a lot of the negativity. And anyway, I definitely love it. So you mentioned about, and I was going to ask you about how often when someone is in that healing process, and you said about 3 times a week is a good goal to set.
Well, the methodology that we use in our Dance to Heal program is it basically taps into the mind and then the body, and we would do that at the same time. So basically, you have each week, we'll have a theme. So our first week is like the foundational week. It's all about just getting into your body. And we have one dance session each week that we recommend repeating at least 2 to 3 times a week so that your body starts to learn it. Because whether you're a dancer or not, it's happened multiple times. People think that, that the first time was hard. And I always say, come back and tell me how the third session was. And they're always like, I actually got so much of the dances and I got the moves. And so, but, before you do those dance sessions, we have little bite-sized modules, and they're in line with the theme of that week. And they're really tapping into the mindfulness aspect, the mental aspect that we're talking about. So we want to prime your mind to be in the right space for dancing. Because if I just gave you dance classes, you would feel a lot from it. You would still benefit. But what I find, and what I found in my classes when I was doing them live, and I was doing these big classes every week, the messaging was so important, because you have a certain messaging and then you combine it with the physicality of dance and having the music, you know, and just releasing and letting go. It's just this cathartic release that really can't be replaced by anything else. And you mentioned this, you said it immediately gives you that. And that is the beauty of dance. It immediately gives you that. Yeah. But I think that when you are going through something healing, you know, one thing that I like to remind people is, you know, first of all, this is a program where, you know, we want you to do it. If you invest in the program, we're going to push you to do it. We're going to give you the methodology. We're going to say, hey, it's not going to work if you don't do the program. However, do not force yourself to make it look a certain way. Find a way to customize it to you. You know, we have some people who are in their 60s or 70s. I'm not going to push them to do it 3 times if their body is saying no. And then we have some people who are going through big life changes. I mean, we had a woman who lost her high school sweetheart husband and decided to enroll in the program. Her, you know, her situation is going to be different than another person who, right? So I think we have these recommendations. They're not guidelines, they're recommendations for you to feel it. And one big thing, as far as just anybody listening to this and they're in a healing stage, I think a big mistake that we all make as humans is that we forget that a big part of healing is giving ourselves permission to completely break down. And I think sometimes, you know, we're wondering why we haven't healed from something, or we're wondering why something is still hurting us. Then, you know, we've never really allowed ourselves to feel. We've talked about it, but we've never really allowed ourselves to completely break down. Yeah. So what I have found that dance can aid in is that it really gives you the truth, like the utter truth of where you're at, and
Yeah.
sometimes you dance and you realize, oh my God, my goodness, I feel good. I feel joyful. And then other times you get into your body and you dance and you feel, wow,
Yeah.
I'm really sad today.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, are you going to allow yourself to go there? You should allow yourself to go there, And so, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it's wonderful. I mean, you talk about a lot of the things that I do, and yeah, I agree. Kind of, can we go off topic for a second? Because I thought of something. I did watch one of your videos a while back, but now I can't remember the music. But do you feel that, well, I guess it's different, like you said, for different people. But if someone, for example, is going through divorce, and like I was with my former spouse for 30 years, so raised a family, all this, right? So, and I deal with a lot of people who are going through great divorces, and it's it's a little trickier because there's been such a long span with somebody. Do you feel that the type of music is important or not important? For example, I tell people when they're healing, a lot of my clients, not to listen to regular radio. I tell them to download music that doesn't talk about losing love and breaking up and all these things, because I felt when I was going through my healing journey, I cut all that out and I listened to certain types of music that were feel good music. And what do you think about that? Or does that even matter?
Well, I mean, it's tough for me to answer that because I think, your journey, that it seems like that helped you, right?
Yeah.
It helped you to cut that out. I think when it comes to healing, I try to be very careful of telling people, one way or another. I could never tell you what music to listen to,
right,
you to be healed, right? But I think it just depends on what mode you're in. I totally see what you're saying. You're saying, I found that type of music to be a little bit distracting from my healing journey, right? Is that true? So, but maybe for some people, so maybe for you wanted to kind of be able to not be burdened with that. But for some people, right, it might have been the other side where they've never really felt their emotions, where maybe listening to some sad music would be good because maybe they, because some people have trouble crying. Some people are like, I'm sad, but I don't know how to cry. I don't cry. And I don't have that problem. Bad feelings. I don't have that problem.
Either. Yeah.
But, so like, I totally understand what your viewpoint, but for somebody else, they might be so disconnected to those emotions that I would say, wow, maybe that type of music could be good for you. I do talk about in my Dance to Heal program, a lot of the beauty of dance is that it allows you to connect with a song and emulate different emotions that arise. So every song can have this different emotion that it brings out of you. And I think to your point, do you want to ruminate in that? No. Rumination is like the point where we don't want to get to, right? Or if you're trying to enjoy your day and you do listen to one of those songs and it just ruins your day.
I mean, how much of music, like 90% of music is about, breaking up, losing love.
I know.
Like that. And I think for me personally, I was just in that mindset where like, I want to be happy, dang it. I don't want to think of it. And I did go through the whole phase of the crying and the this and the that.
That's what's important. You were ready.
I was ready.
Process. You had processed that. That's a great, And that's what I assumed. So you went through your processing. You felt all those emotions. You felt all those uncomfortable emotions. So you were at a point where it's like, where you were like, no, now I'm ready to move forward. And the path forward is feel good. And I'm going to really tap into that. And that's incredible, by the way. Like that is, that you're proud of yourself. That is incredible.
I think I did that for, I want to say about 2 years. I literally just dove into, oh my gosh, like so many great artists who just sing about positivity and love, and like Trevor Hall and so many others. I mean, Satsang and kind of more spiritual music. I mean, not religious, but really happy, really great beat. And then when I wanted to dance, I would turn on Michael Jackson and I would turn on, the old favorites of great great music, great beat, that kind of thing. But I did try to avoid that negative,
And I think the beauty of that is I think it really just depends on what phase of you're in. And I would say to anybody listening is one of the biggest things in our program that we talk about is I can't tell you the way and you can't tell other people.
Right.
We can share our experiences and hope that it guides people. But the best gift that you can give to yourself is try to connect with your body, try to connect with your emotions, try to connect with your intuition, because your body is the way. Your body knows those answers. Yep. So you tapped into that and you knew, okay, I'm ready to, to feel good. I'm ready to feel good. My body is ready for that. For some people, maybe they went through a marriage and they're getting a divorce and they never were raised to especially women, we don't know how to tap into anger. So, it's frowned upon, for us to express that anger. So for another woman, it might be, hey, maybe some music that's a little bit more angry, maybe it helps you tap into that emotion. So I would say that it really depends on what point you're in. And I would also just urge everybody to really to quiet the noise on the outside so that they can what their body is craving.
Yeah. Great points. And also men too, on the flip side, a lot of men have, of course, been taught to, suck it up. Don't be a girl. Don't cry. And I get a lot of men that say like, oh, I've done some healing. I'm fine. But, then they start, you can hear the anger and you can hear that frustration. And it's like, if you're experiencing those kinds of feelings, you're not healed. Like you may have done some healing. Great. You're happy in work. You're successful. Great. That's great. That's part of it. But you still have to dive deep and listen to yourself. And a lot of people need help with that. So it's a great thing. I wanted to ask you one more thing. Let's see, when you talk about dance helping us embrace the duality in life, and we've kind of touched on this, but I wanted to specifically put that out there because I love that. What exactly does that mean?
Well, I think life is magical. It's beautiful. It's extraordinary. And I think that's one river that's going down life, right? And then I think simultaneously there's another river that's parallel and it's heavy. It's daunting. It's tragic. It can be filled with grief. And I think both of these rivers, no matter what, they're always flowing. They're always flowing. Yep. And I think that the best gift that dance gave to me is this space for both. The more I was dancing, the more I was tapping into my connection with my body, the more I was allowing space for both sides, the light and the darkness, and I think sometimes we get imbalanced. We really only allow the space and we really only honor the light. And like any darkness, think about, when people start crying, what's the first thing they say? I'm sorry, I'm crying. We all do it, right? Or when people tell you something negative, they say, or quote unquote negative, and they say, I don't want to burden you with this. We have this stigma on don't talk about these types of things. It's not good. It's negative. It's bad. It's gonna, and I think the beauty is finding that harmony and allowing space for both, because both serve a very big purpose and there's information on both sides. And I think that when we talk about duality and in relation to dance, just dance alone, right, is it really emulates the duality, because dance does instantly make you feel this kind of almost childlike joy. It almost helps you reconnect with your inner child. And there's a silliness in dance. There's a playfulness in dance. And it just reminds you of the simple life of being like a 6-year-old and just dancing in the middle and not caring what you look like. And, but if you're doing it as an adult, that, after that dance is over, you might have to face some real things in your life, in your schedule, in your day to day. And I think that both need to be honored. There needs to be space for both. And I think this is where we can make space for both. The less threatened we are by the darkness, and the less we repress those sides of ourselves that feel a little bit more of the darkness.
That was just so beautiful. And,
thank you.
He really tapped into, and I tell people this, because I've had people say, well, some of my videos online, and they'll say, well, you can't always be happy. And no, of course not, because again, just like you said, life there's ups and downs. There's always going to be ups and downs, even after we get through this healing from divorce, which I help people with. Your friend might get sick, your dog might die, whatever. A million different things are going to happen that are going to, bring you back down. But it's the learning how, like you said, to, or the realization that there's always, both sides. I mean, if it was always happy and roses and beautiful, life would be pretty boring, right? I mean, so right. It's through those. Yeah, it's through those down times that we learn to experience life, experience ourselves, learn who we are, learn what we need and want, and it makes us stronger. So I love that whole concept of the duality and how dance can help with that. And this has been fabulous. I have some YouTube clips that I'm going to post on both on YouTube and on all of the audio channels, so people can check you out. And where can you send people to find out about your Dance to Heal program and more about you?
Yeah, so the easiest way would be my website, which is melodydancefit.com. And there's more information on the Dance to Heal program there. We also have a free 6-part video series on my YouTube under Melody Dance Fit, and it's all about the Dance to Heal program and really getting into the content of what is covered. We talk about shadow work. We talk about reconnecting with your inner child. We talk about the duality. So, I do want to reiterate that it is the modality is dance, but then there's a mindfulness part of it where people are able to journal and really work through what they're going through. So
wonderful. I love that. And I'm so excited that I found you, because this is such a great, tool, and I love what you have set up. So we'll put all that on the show notes on both audio and video podcasts. And I thank you so much for being here today. This has been such a wonderful conversation, and I really think probably one of my favorite podcasts in relation to the topic, because I absolutely love what dance can do for one. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.